Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Small Business Small Talk. I'm your host, Christy Smallwood, and I am honored to get to do this kind of show. I love having each and every one of my guests come on and share their stories, their learnings, the best advice that they'd ever got, what they do in their business, why they love doing their business. So there's so much that I get to learn just by doing this show that I hope you also get to learn by listening or watching on any of your preferred channels. And you can find a favorite channel by going straight to the website, which is smallbusinesssmalltalk.com. That's smallbusinesssmalltalk.com. And you can just watch all the episodes there if you'd like, or you can even find your favorite audio platforms and be sure to subscribe. Be sure to leave us a great review. Be sure to share us with your friends. There are some great business stories that I'm able to interview these people for. They deserve to be heard out there. So share them with your friends. Give small business a plug. Support local small business. Support small business everywhere. Support the great stories that can turn into these magical entities. Like, again, one of my favorite business stories ever is still Walt Disney. It all started with a mouse. Like, that is one of their mantras. It all started with a mouse and one idea. And now look at it. So I love to support these small business entrepreneurs, these owners who are in the trenches day in and day out, making their dreams happen, living their best lives, if you will. Which is funny that's become a thing now, isn't it? It's one of those, I don't want to hear that phrase anymore, living your best life. Well, it kind of is. If you find that your version of success matches my guests in this episode, you are living your best life. The money part doesn't matter. The money isn't the thing to focus on if you're living your best life. So real quick, total disclaimer, we're going to talk about the chamber today as part of this story, because my guest, Jason Koerner with Perfect Pitch DJ Service, he and I are teaming up for our local chamber, which is the Chamber of St. Matthews, who is a sponsor partner for the Business Expo. And by the time this episode airs, the expo will have been done. I'm looking at my calendar now because that's like next week. And by the time I get this episode done, it'll be like 3 weeks from now. So we'll have already done the superhero thing and it'll be a fantastic experience. Very excited to pull this off. Can't wait. Because I know I want my picture taken with the photo booth, which you'll hear all about in our conversation. So the expo is part of the chamber. If you guys are out there and you are not attached or a member of your local chamber, connect with me. I'd love to get you involved with the St. Matthews Chamber based here in Louisville, Kentucky. We are more of a regional chamber, believe it or not, that focuses on supporting and connecting small business to community. And it's not about, our chamber's not about bringing in the big guys for economic development. Other chambers do that throughout. We've got Greater Louisville Inc. and there's one Southern Indiana. Those focus on large corporations. We are all about making small business run as far as they want to run and smooth and connect with each other and connect with the community. Because that's really where the heart of small business lies, is being able to make all of those connections. Okay. So I've rambled about the chamber enough. I could brag about them all day long. And yes, another disclaimer is I'm highly involved in this chamber. The culture is just different. Jason and I will talk about our chamber likes to have fun doing business. Why not? Why, especially in the day and age that we're in all of the negativity out there, why should we have to take ourselves so seriously all the damn time? There's just no reason to do it that way. Business can still be fun and professional. And to think otherwise is antiquated, period. Because we're told by almost every billionaire out there, find something you love to do, figure out how to make money at it, That is living your best life. And Jason's going to talk about that too. And so if you love what you do, aren't you having fun? So if you have a corporate background, like I did, that told you you have to keep your emotions in check, like you can't show emotion and be successful, is what I was told. I think I know where he was going. Like, as a woman, you shouldn't cry. And I'm thinking, I'm holding back tears so I don't throat punch somebody in this moment, but I digress. Just the mere fact that you couldn't get emotional in a high emotional state and still be successful in business is a full-on lie. That is a myth that should be busted all over the place. If you are having fun and doing what you do very well, that's a high level of success. And I don't care if you're in a large corporation or in a tiny small business, you should be able to enjoy what you do and show that you actually enjoy it. Like, your face should be able to tell the world that you're actually having some fun doing what you love to do. So that might seem like a little bit of rambling for this episode. Sorry about that. Anyway, so I, as your host, if I haven't said already before, my name's Christy Smallwood. This is Small Business Small Talk, where I do share business stories of other spotlighted guests, because I love to hear how they got where they got and what they love to do about their business, their version of success, what they've, learned over the years. Jason is definitely one of those that is fun to be around. And I get to know more about him. He was in marching band too. So we touch on that. If you've never been in marching band, or if you don't have kids that are in marching band is one of those things that can change your life. It is team atmosphere. It's both creative and athletic. So you have to be coordinated enough, or get your body trained with muscle memory to be coordinated enough to be able to do left, right, all together now. Okay. And the flag corps, and then you got drum majors. Everybody has to stay in beat, and you have to play music at the same time, or twirl the flags, or dance, God forbid. So there's all kinds of things that happen when you're in marching band, and it does take a lot of work and concentration and effort. And that sets you up well for having a great work ethic or being creative and inventive in your own business. So having that background while young makes a huge difference as you get older. I'm here to tell you, because I still have a lot of that ingrained in me as my own business owner now, and pulling that creativity. Jason talks about that too, his love of music. And I didn't know he was a part of a metal band. I was like, really? I can't wait to tell everybody about that, because that needs to be more known. So if you're looking for somebody like Jason, I've included his information in the show notes, and take full advantage of having DJs at your events. Whether or not you're getting married, or if you're doing a business event, take advantage of having a DJ there. You're going to hear from Jason what that experience can be like. I've learned a lot in this episode, where his heart is and what his energy is into this, and why he's doing what he's doing. I just loved it. So without further ado, I hope you have as much fun with this episode as I did. And here is my guest, Jason Koerner, with perfect pitch DJ services. So Jason, thank you for being my guest today on this episode. I've been looking forward to this conversation, because you are doing one of my favorite things I used to want to do back in the day, but I appreciate people like you. So you are, for lack of a better term, a DJ, like an event DJ. Give us some background. How did you even get from, I don't even know what your starting point, your origin story was. So this is the other thing I've been interested in talking with you about, is learning more about what did you do before getting to perfect pitch DJ service now?
Oh gosh. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Christy. It's awesome to be able to join you on this. It's a super great honor for you to have me on your podcast. So I'm excited just to be here and want to put that out there first. If your question is, how did I get to Perfect Pitch DJ, or what things did I do before? That depends on where you want to start. We could go all the way back to my first being in a pawn shop when I was like 15. I've logged trees. I've been a drug counselor. I've taught college. So there's a lot of different things that happen before. And I spent a lot of time in my career working in human resources at various companies as well. So yeah, just various different places of employment long before getting into doing DJing for a living. Music has always been the most important thing to me as a hobby, and I played in bands my whole life. I played in the school bands, marching bands, all that kind of good stuff.
Oh, you did marching band? Wait.
Oh yeah, super band geek.
What did you play? What were you?
Yeah,
saxophone.
I started playing saxophone in 5th grade, so I was like 10. And it was probably one of the best days of my life when I got my first saxophone, because as you probably can imagine, saxophones, like all the different band instruments, are super expensive. And my mom did not have money whatsoever, but I was begging, from, I don't know, like 1st grade forward, but my school wouldn't let you play in the band until 5th grade. So lo and behold, 5th grade rolls around. I still don't have a plan or an instrument. And one day I come home from school and my mom had me a saxophone. It was brand new and like way out of our league, but she made it happen. So
alto or tenor?
I was an alto. I played a little bit of everything once I got into it, but alto primarily through everything.
So I played clarinet in high school.
Oh,
I still have mine.
Very good. I still have my saxophone as well. Maybe we can start a band.
I told the chamber, like coffee chat in the mornings, we've got some people who play instruments. We totally need a chamber band. Just throwing that out there for my chamber people. We need a chamber band.
Great success. We could be like a hodgepodge, like a big band orchestra of just whatever.
I'm sure we could even get somebody to play like a jug or something. Spoons, whatever.
I always, no matter what I've ever played instrument wise, I've always liked the spoon guy and the jug bands and stuff like that. I just think that they look so fun to play. My fiance and I just went and saw Old Crow Medicine Show, and drummer comes out along with everybody up front. He's playing spoons and the washboard and stuff. It was great.
That is awesome. Well, yeah. So I taught marching band for 16 years.
You did?
I did. I taught it. I was drum major. I did the flag guard, the whole flag corps thing, that all of it. I still have flags. I will still teach every once in a while. Yeah, no, totally. The marching band geek is right here with you in this right now.
I did not know that about you, but I love meeting people that have that story and that experience, because if you've not been in marching band or in and around that type of environment, like, people don't recognize what type of a commitment it is to do that. It's a job. You hear about band camp and all that stuff, but you go to band camp, whether it's overnight or just daily practices. But I remember we did like 12-hour practices every day through the week, and then the weekends were competitions and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it really is your whole life at that time. I did not choose to go on with it in college, because that's when in high school, I started branching out, playing guitar and bass, and, meeting other guitar players and starting rock bands and stuff. So that's, to answer your original question, like, how did it come to this or whatever, to where I was out doing this? Essentially, it was just trying to find a way to be able to make money playing music, doing something I love in a format that was enjoyable to me and something to present. I was playing in a bunch of metal bands, and metal is still probably my absolute favorite genre to play and perform live. But metal doesn't sell. Nobody does metal at their weddings for kids.
It's not your normal wedding band, right?
No. You have to have, I guess, like, I don't know. Probably the best way of looking at it for me is just different versions of yourself for the right scenario. So, I still to this day play with Surviving Thalia, which is the metal band, and we just did a show for benefiting cancer research over the summer. We kind of come out of our shell like once a year or something like that to put a show on and knock the rust off. And those days are amazing. Like, I love performing with those guys. They're my best friends. They're my absolute brothers. And we have such an amazing time doing that thing. So I do that to satisfy this portion of music. And then once in a while, I bust out my saxophone still. And, most of the time I'm trying to teach myself drums or something new at home. And then weddings are a whole other performance element, because some of the things that I did in the past, like college teaching, was in a sense performance-based as well. It's you in front of a big audience doing something and getting paid to do whatever that thing is that comes from you. In that respect, it was psychology. I taught over JCTC and IUS, and love teaching and love that element of performance, to where it's you with people engaged in something that you mutually like. And psychology is a passion of mine, and that was fantastic. Now I get to do that with music. I get to work with the best couples and the best families and friends of these couples, and do something that it's totally different than other things that I was doing in the past. But since 2016, it's been going strong, and it keeps getting better. And I'm just really excited to have that as another way of being able to connect with people musically. It's just another instrument to play. To me, DJing and performing at weddings or corporate events or parties or whatever these things are, it's just another way of performing music in another facet.
So what got you to make the shift from employee, working somewhere for somebody else, to actually being like, you know what, I'm going to do this is my own thing over here? What got you to make that shift?
It's scary, and it's still scary. I mean, I made the decision to be self-employed in my brain long before it actually happened. It was something that once I got started with the DJ business in February of 2016, things were slow and building slowly and so forth. And then about 2 years into it is when it started growing legs and taking off. And I was like, oh man, I wonder what it would be like if I could just do this. But I still worked a day job. I still, was doing it as a second to that. Life changes occurred, new relationships and new motivations to not be afraid of doing things, that may be scary, but I wanted to see where they went, and through encouragement, lots of encouragement, because it took a lot of courage to be able to make that plunge. Finally did it. That's the good part of things. And I'm so happy that occurred. And now here we are. But the bad part of it was probably the timing of it. I did it right before COVID. So I went 100% self-employed because I foresaw a fantastic future on my calendar. I already had these bookings and things were looking really solid. And so when I made that leap, it was really exciting. And then no more than 2 or 3 weeks later, we got the shutdown orders from the governor, and jobs went away, and it got really rough. Now that things are coming out on the other side, it's a much happier, industry to be in, but things have been rough over that period of time. So it was just a lot of motivation from other people that supported me. It was motivation to try to do something outside of comfort zone and take a chance. And one of those things, like, if it doesn't work, then what's the worst that happened? You tried it, that you gave it your all, and then you find something else to go into after that.
So what are some things that you did in that meantime, like during the shutdown? What are some things that you managed to, because we all know you couldn't get out. You're in the entertainment industry, and entertainment, tourism, venue stuff. Weddings weren't happening on the scale that they had been. People could do it in their backyards, I guess, but past that, it's like, what are some things that you implemented to be able to navigate through all of the shutdown?
It really, for me, it was the worst thing that could have happened in that time, but perhaps one of the best things that could have happened overall, because prior to that, I was running the business as a hobby that made money. And during that time frame, to where you go self-employed, and now this is it, this is where your bread and butter comes from, it makes you evaluate everything. And COVID particularly made me lean down my processes a lot, considering what was the right spending to have, the not right spending to have. What am I doing about marketing? What are value adds? What are not value adds? What we are doing right now, you and I on a Zoom, of course, everybody has become more accustomed to that in the COVID world. And that's something that is now an integral part of my business. I probably do still to this day, even though we can go out in public and meet face to face, I still probably do 90% of everything virtually now, because not only have I gotten used to it and seen the value and how easy and convenient it can be, but the people that I work with, the clients that are booking me for these things, they love it and they prefer it too, because how easy is it to make a meeting when you can just maybe pull up your phone or open up your laptop, from the convenience of wherever you're at, versus having to hop in the car, travel, fight traffic, perhaps be late, spend money on coffee, whatever the case may be. So I think that the COVID thing, what did I do? I don't know, just evaluated everything and prayed for it to be over, make the best use of the time possible to sort of think about your processes, everything from pricing to marketing to how am I executing my jobs? What are new ways that I can branch out and grow this business, since now it is the only thing that I support myself with? So what types of add-on services can you make available, and how can you just do things better than you did them before? So I think COVID just made me, and I'm sure everybody, just take a hard look at themselves about, okay, I've got this unwanted dead time. What can I do positive with it so that I can come out and be better on the other side when this does pass?
Yeah. And I know one of your add-ons, because you're not just doing music, one of the add-ons is something that I get to partake in our upcoming business expo. You even have like this mirror photo booth thing. I haven't even got to see it yet, and I'm super excited about what this is. So you're not only just the DJ, but your service now has a photo booth aspect to it as well, right?
Yeah, so it's an amazing photo booth. And by the way, I can't wait to work with you on it at the upcoming event that we're doing, Business Expo. The photo booth is certainly kind of like the crown jewel outside of the music portion of things that we do at Perfect Pitch. It can be booked as a standalone. So sometimes, that could be the only feature that we provide at somebody's event, whether it be a wedding or a school function, private party, corporate event, grand openings, all that kind of stuff. We've done a lot of those types of things. Or it can also be booked in conjunction with the music side of things. So maybe I'm the DJ, and somewhere in that reception hall or room is also our photo booth, and it's an action as well. Wedding couples particularly seem to enjoy the booth because of the customization that's available with it. Number one, it's techie as all get out. It's a 5 foot tall, 6 foot tall, whatever it is, mirror, so you can physically see yourself in it just like a mirror. So you can go up and kind of check your hair and makeup before the shot, make sure you're looking your best. So that's kind of a fun thing. But then also it's got sound, so it's got full animations and all these video graphics that go along and encourage you along the way. It pays compliments. It can even make jokes or even make wisecracks or whatever. However we want to program your event, it can be done that way. So everything from just taking your pictures and giving you fantastic compliments, asking you if you model, or telling you your outfit's on fleek or 100%.
That is fantastic.
If you really want to go the other direction, you can program in some of the effects in it to where it's, after it takes your picture, it shatters the mirror and breaks the camera, whatever, because, your own interpretation about why you broke the camera. Or, it'll make a little remark.
Like, can we set that up for like specific people? That would be hilarious.
Button, like when I go through the booth, the mirror cracks, but dude, it's like, oh, you're gorgeous, everything's great. Yeah. And I go back and it cracks again. Yeah, but it would be nice if you could target people. But yeah, it's just one of those things to where once people see it, because you're saying this yourself, you haven't seen it yet, but once you get a taste of what it can do, the video on the introduction screen is totally customizable. It's a computer, so I can put still photos or full length videos on there. So any kind of graphics. So it's great for branding events. It's great for a wedding couple to have their engagement photo, that's like their favorite photo featured right there. So as their guests come up to the mirror, it's the first thing that they see. And it really just ties the whole event together. And then when it goes through the process and it prints them out, The guests get unlimited prints, so they can do as many copies of the photo session as they want. So everybody gets a paper copy of it. They're great quality, 4x6, glossy, photo quality, waterproof, smudge proof, all that kind of good stuff. And then in addition to the hard copy print, they also can text message themselves the photo directly from the mirror. So before their printouts are even spat out from the printer, their phone's going off and they've already got that image on their phone digitally, to which they can forward to the other people in the photo. They can upload it to all their social media platforms.
Oh, fantastic.
Share it to the couple, the bride and groom or what have you. So, and then at the end of the night, the couple that hires tends to get two things. If it's a wedding, then we always do scrapbook albums, so that every single photo session that got printed that day gets one copy into a nice leather-bound photo album with the portion to the side where they can write messages to the client. So congratulations, Jane and Bob or whatever, from Aunt Susie. And at the end of the night, you've got this collection of however many photos already in a wedding album, with all these well wishes and stuff written to them. And then we get to hand that off. And I think that's probably one of the favorite parts of the night, is giving a couple, their essentially their first wedding album, because their photography may not be back for another couple weeks, couple months even. And they're going to get some fantastic things then too. But this is like an immediate gratification. Like, you've already got a guest book with all these fantastic components in it. And then they get the digital copies as well. All those borders and stuff are customized too. So the branding elements for a business stays concurrent throughout that whole flow and process and ties into the event. The artwork can be, congruent with the wedding color palette, so I want to make sure that the prints and the borders and the fonts and all that kind of stuff kind of match the decor and the wedding colors of the couple. So the sky's the limit, and then with what we're doing in your situation, there's even a green screen option, right? So we can put up a green screen and then we can virtually digitize anything in the background. So then the sky's really the limit. We can do things like superheroes, which
that's right.
Hopefully I didn't let a cat out of the bag. It's like a secret theme, but
it should surprise nobody at this point that that's going to be a superhero background.
It's kind of your thing from what I've surmised. So that I did a great wedding with a superhero theme, and everybody was dressed in costume, and we had comic book backgrounds and just all this really cool, fun stuff. And it really is an entertaining element for the guests too. It's not just about getting the end product, but the fun that they have going through the process of having their pictures made, and just the interactivity of that mirror. It's a lot of fun. And then you couple it with great music and you got a winning combination. So
that's fantastic. Like, you're bringing the technology for the experience and having a fun, memorable experience for somebody's life event, or even like corporate events, or need a little extra.
Which was, you wouldn't think necessarily that this would have a place in that, but again, it's all customizable. So we can make any collection of physical props go along with the event. We can make any collection of virtual props go along with the event.
Which I ordered my props. By the time this show airs, the expo will have been done, so we can talk about it. But my props should be in tomorrow. I mean, I now will have a Thor hammer, Captain America's shield, Black Widow stuff. Like, I've ordered a little bit of everybody on the Avengers side.
It's a little confusing when you do such a fun event like that, because you can't really figure out if you're working or just having fun.
Right.
It's gonna be such a fun event. I can't wait for it.
When I talk with you, and that it's corporate event wise, we're getting ready to do this business expo, and I've never, as a Eagle Eye Strategies, my business, set up a booth. So I'm starting from scratch, and I've been in business now since officially 2018 under this brand. And I'm like, I've just didn't know what to do, never really invested in having a booth. I just always, meandered through the aisles and did it that way. Well, this time I have this opportunity. I'm like, I don't want to be the normal, right? I don't want to be the normal. I want to be able for everybody to remember the experience they had at my booth. Yep. And so that's when I thought of what you're providing with this. And at the time, I didn't know that you did it. And I was like, oh, I heard, and Josh at the chamber said, well, Jason has one of those, like, what?
I love it. And I think that what you're saying probably would resonate with a lot of business owners, to think about how hard it can be to cut through the mix, to be at a wedding show amongst all these other vendors, and some vendors that are precisely doing what you do, right? So for a wedding show, the typical like rule is that they probably cap every category at like 3 vendors. So there could be 3 DJs, there could be 3 florists, there could be 3 wedding coordinators, there could be 3, et cetera, et cetera. So at minimum, you're probably at least present with 2 other companies that do exactly what you do, or very similar, close enough for confusion. So how do you set yourself apart? What is it that you offer that they don't? And, people get caught up in pricing, and that's obviously going to be a driving force for everybody, because everybody's on a budget. Some people's budgets are larger than others, some are smaller than others, but everybody's got a budget that they want to stay under for any event, wedding, corporate event, otherwise. But if we can level the playing field, and everybody's numbers are pretty comparable, then you've got to figure out, if we're all the same and we've all got the same capabilities, then we're all vanilla to one another. How do I stand out and do something that others can't? And some people have found that calling in the photo booth, section of things. As far as DJs are concerned, some people have dynamite lighting packages. I've seen some of the DJs around town, and I'm just so envious of how amazing they can make a room look with it. So, you take note. And then when you save up a little bit more money, then maybe I'll have some better lighting too. My lighting's not bad, but I've seen better, right? So you got to know your strengths and weaknesses, and be willing to invest in your weaknesses so that they're no longer that, but also to be able to promote your strengths. And I think that what you're doing with that booth particularly, and just conceptually about how do you put your business out front, business doesn't come to you, you have to go out and grab it. So even at an expo where people are walking through aisles, or a wedding show where people are walking through aisles, if you're me or anything like me, I don't stand behind a table, I'll stand in front of a table. If they gave me chairs, I'd get rid of them. Like, I don't want chairs. I want to be out, I want to meet people. And because, that's where you're going to make your connections at. And even if they don't book, it's just more fun. I'm a people person, so I'm going to make sure that I at least enjoy myself while I'm present at one of those things. And hopefully the customers relate to that and think, if this individual is just friendly and good people, they'd probably be okay to get into business with for our event.
Yeah. And how I'm using it, even if we didn't, so bless the powers that be, they theme our event. So our chamber likes to have fun while we do business, which is, I very much appreciate this culture. And so we have a movie theme for this expo. And of course, with my love of superheroes, I did choose Avengers over Wonder Woman, because I felt that was more inclusive of everybody versus just, not everybody does the Wonder Woman thing, which is fine. We're not gonna cross over brands here.
Thing though, I think that's still going to be evident.
It's so, well, yeah. So having this, so made it super easy for me to choose, like, oh, let's do something that makes a business owner feel like they are their own superhero. And so it just became this natural fit. Even if we did not have a theme, my thought is, how can I quickly get a business owner to feel like the hero of their business? And if I can get them to experience that right off the bat at an expo, I would still use a photo booth to do these kinds of things, because they literally see themselves as a superhero walking away. And not only that, but I did the numbers. So again, I'm starting from scratch. I did the numbers on what would it take to create everything that I would normally need at a booth. Well, when you're talking signage and giveaways and blah, 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 blahs, all of that stuff was adding up very quickly. And I was like, it is apples to apples experience. And what will they look at and keep? What will they actually keep that has my logo and information on it? And it was the picture of themselves at this event. I still have a handful of these pictures over the years from, the various photo booth things that has, and I was like, I'm going to maximize this space that this other event did not. So when we designed the overlays, I'm like, I have a QR code and on mine.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm maximizing
Add that QR code component into our photographs and have their customers be able to scan that QR code with the camera on their phone and lead them to, whatever, not only just their .com, but if you want people to jump right to your pricing or right to your company history or whatever, like whatever link you put in there.
I have them jump into an interactive video of me explaining all things Eagle Eye Strategies. That'd be me.
Talk about the cost. I mean, nothing's free, right?
Right.
I charge for services. Everybody charges for services, but I love the point that you brought up about when looking at how much does it cost for the traditional things at these types of events. If I'm going to do giveaways of trinket items and bags and all the kind of stuff that we know and love and grow to expect at some of these things, or could I spend, equal or perhaps even less money, because that swag stuff is super expensive. I use ink pens and 4x6 cards and things like that for mine. But, I'd love to hand out a pair of earbuds or something very musically related to all my people at these events. But, a good pair of earbuds, for those giveaway style, probably like $25 a pair or something like that. Yeah, you can get like the $2 earbuds that you find on the bottom of a box of Frosted Flakes, but that's your plan too. I don't want like earbuds that disintegrate the minute that you put them in your ears and like, why did that DJ give me those? You're definitely going to get remembered for it, but not maybe the way that you want to be remembered for it. So smart investment of, funding to what will people hold on to. I've been to friends' houses and just seen kind of across the board people having those photo booth things hanging up on the refrigerator, years after the events that they took them at. I've got probably a little shoebox collection of photo booth strips that I had maybe from weddings or things that I attended long before I ever owned one. But that's one thing that people tend not to throw away, because again, it's a memory and it's themselves. People love to talk about themselves, like I'm doing now. Thanks for that. And then people, it's hard to throw a picture away of yourself if it's super cool and unique, and you're not going to get that anywhere. So yeah, that can stick around for a bit.
All right. So what is the thing that you love most about your business? Like overall, the thing that you love the most?
The people. I mean, I think that's it. The people that I work with, I get to hear from them what they want and then figure out a way to give that to them. What are their musical preferences? What do they like? What do they not like? They saw something on YouTube of some fantastic choreographed dance that a father-daughter did, or a first dance, did, or something like that. And they ask a question like, can you do that? Can you mix those songs up and make it crazy? And, I don't know how to do it. Do you? And then to be able to be that fixer and be like, yeah, I can do that. No problem. Let's come up with a plan. And just being able to really make what they want to happen. And in the process of doing that, you're taking away their stress. Couples get incredibly stressed out about these events. There's so much money being spent. There's so much work to be done. There's so much tracking of RSVPs and, mitigating all the family drama of who can be invited and then sit together at this table.
Right.
Who, Uncle Bob needs to go over here because, he gets mean or whatever. So you could like just sort of take whatever kind of puzzle pieces that they have and put it together for them. So I really like working with people and giving them what they want and like solving their problems, whatever those problems are, and seeing that stress level come down from them. And I'm quick to tell people, like, I'm the fun vendor. That's one of the things that I like about this is I'm not selling, I don't know, no offense to my friends in the insurance industry, but I think what I do is more fun than selling event insurance to a couple, like I feel like what I do is probably more fun than a lot of the pieces of it. But I hope that the people that do sell insurance have more fun doing that than they would do what I'm doing too. I think that everybody just has to gravitate towards what they know, and music's what I know. So who wouldn't want a job to where you get to do what you love and somehow figure out a way to sustain, a living out of it as well. But I don't take that lightly. I don't take that for granted. This is an industry that is reputation based and word of mouth based and referral based and social media based. And every event that you do, you have to put everything into it so that the next event keeps coming your way, and the next event and the next event, because you do something really horrible to somebody and it's probably not going to continue on for very long with you.
And that will spread faster than the good news does.
Yeah. So I'm thankful to have great reviews. I'm thankful to have happy customers. I'm thankful to still 5+ years later officially still love what I'm doing today. Probably more so now than I even did in the beginning, because it's a whole thing now. So
do you have any fun stories from like?
God, yeah.
Because we all know weddings.
Weddings are interesting. As a guest, it's probably my favorite thing to just people watch at a wedding. You don't get to people watch as a DJ in the same capacity, but you certainly see things happen. I've seen, well, let's start with the positive. I've seen amazing good times. Amazing good times and cross-generationally. Like, you see kids and elderly people dancing together. There's nothing better than that. There's nothing better than seeing like a group of loved ones, the couple and their friends and their family and all these guests who may not even know each other, or at least not know each other that well, come together on a dance floor and party and have a fantastic time together. That's probably like the most satisfying feeling. Every DJ wants a full dance floor. So I think that your challenge each and every event is to get that. Like, it's my job. These people don't have any responsibilities to me to go out there and dance because I want them to. I got to give them something, through music, but not just music, but like the way that you talk to people and the way that your energy comes through to them. If I'm not excited to be there, they're not going to be excited to be there. I have to set the pace and set the tone and, just be with them. You're not a guest, but you got to be with them. Like, we are here to have a good time. We are going to do this. And I think that being part of their tribe is really important. And if you can kind of like bring everybody together as one, then that's going to be maybe the formula for success. So I'm
still waiting for a crazy story here.
It's coming. So whether they're just having a good time on the dance floor or jumping up on tables, I've just seen all kinds of crazy good stuff. I know what you're fishing for, and that's the fun stuff. I've seen fist fights. Lots of tears sometimes, over various things. Fist fight is probably, I've seen 2.
Wow.
I mean, I know I've seen 2. I'm just trying to think if I've seen more, but
let me guess, alcohol was involved.
One would assume, yeah. It's not funny. It's just like, it's one of those things. It's like, oh my God, I never would have thought that would be part of this wonderful event. Like, we're at a wedding, but at the end of the night, obviously something changed or whatever. So yeah, the crazy stories are probably those that like somebody maybe had too much or whatever and got into it with somebody and then, this fight breaks out. And, I'm on a bunch of different DJ boards, and I've actually seen a number of these threads where DJs themselves are on there posting like, this happened last night at my venue or whatever, or this crazy thing happened. There's stories out there, but I think honestly, that one's probably the one that's the most shocking. Like, oh my God, you really saw a fist fight at a wedding? Yeah, I've seen a few. It's just.
I knew a DJ back in the day
that you expect that something is going to happen to them. When you're doing 30 weddings a year for several years in a row, like the majority of them are never like that, but once in a while.
Yeah, I heard a story, and this has been a long time ago, where somebody actually rode the horse into the reception area.
Now, is this a planned carriage entrance, or is this like?
Oh no, there was definitely alcohol involved in that.
The horse and decided to hop on its back. Ever seen a rogue horse rider enter? Back to the good things that you see. I've seen horses and some fantastic entrances, doing events at somebody's farm, and they've got like a horse and buggy or something like that. It's pretty cool what people make use of, that they have access to. If I had access to a horse and buggy, that would probably be I would want to introduce, and everybody's sort of got their own version.
Well, that's very Cinderella-like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so when I talk with my business owners, I always ask about influencers, mentors. So as you've developed this business over the years, who's been some of your best influencers?
Honest to God, there's a number of really, really, really amazing DJs in Louisville. I have no problem saying that there are so many great choices that it can be difficult to go wrong when people are making a selection. I'm not the only game in town, and everybody should probably feel the same way. You're not the only game in town. There's all these other people that do a fantastic job. I mean, looking across the board, just some of the big names that I look out there and I'm thinking, oh yeah, they're doing it really great. You know, like Roy Harrison with Epic Entertainment, like Travis McGuire with Elite Entertainment, Jason Mosley, JM Entertainment. I guess everybody's name is Entertainment that I'm thinking of. Um, gosh, Josh Brown, Josh Walker. Like there's all these other DJs out there that are doing really great things. So in a sense, you know, like that community, if I'm booked, I'm looking to them, hey, do you got an opening? You know, I got a couple that, you know, came to me, but I'm full on that date, you know, can you work with them or whatever? So there's a sense of community, I think, in the referral process when it comes to those things. But also just looking at best practices and, you know, seeing what other people are doing and what works for your business and what doesn't work for your business. But from a mentorship standpoint, I don't think that it's been necessarily DJs that have mentored me nearly as much as it's been the wedding vendor community at large. The St. Matthew's Chamber that I belong to, that you belong to, is, you know, it's got a wedding and hospitality group, and the group that's, you know, comprised in there has sort of one of everything. So you got one bartender, one florist, one plant, you know, et cetera. So what a better group of people to learn from the perspective of what it takes to put on a full wedding and how does the DJ fit into what these other people do. So honestly, I think that the best mentorship that I've had has been from fellow business owners in the wedding industry, regardless of whether they're doing exactly what I do as DJ and photo booth, or they do something completely different that still connects to the same event. So that team mentality, that team building, I think is probably where I picked up a lot. And, you know, there's even people that are outside of just the wedding industry, particularly, that I know from my personal life that own businesses, and I just really look up to them and what they have built, you know. So I've got some mentors that are personal to me that I've just really looked up to their level of success and the integrity that they run their business with. So somebody that's a great example of that would be Barbara Civils over at Shack in the Back, who also owns River's Edge wedding venue. I go to her for questions and you know, advice all the time, and it's really just that I look up to the way that she does her business personally. So
awesome. So
and there's many more that I'm doing a poor job of mentioning or naming now.
Okay, so over the years, what is the best piece of advice you've received?
Oh gosh. The best piece of advice that I've ever received, that's huge. I don't even know where to start on that. I don't know. I mean, I've received a lot of advice that I think is super helpful, but I think the best one would probably be something to the effect of somebody telling you that every decision that you make in your business affects the next one. So whether it's something big or small, you know, how you market yourself, how you interact with people, how much you choose to work, you know, because choosing to work can be kind of a tricky thing. You can do a lot of work and maybe not be able to put your whole self into it, or you can choose the jobs that you know are closest to you and your ability to perform the best way in your wheelhouse. So I think I'd rather be really good at doing what I'm just doing right now, DJ and photo booths, some of these ancillary services of AV and that kind of thing. I like running sound for live bands. You know, these are all things that are kind of tightly niche.
Yep.
But that advice of like just every move that you make affects the next move, you know, so considering every decision that you make with your business for the future, not just for that immediate gratification of whatever that moment is.
And then last question, what does success look like for you? I mean, I kind of know based on this whole conversation, but go ahead and tell me.
Yeah, success is different for everybody. I've had jobs where I made a lot of money, and wasn't really all that happy with it. I've had jobs where I made little to no money and loved them. And I think that, success is about finding something that you like, that you're proud to tell people that you do every day. For me, that's the biggest thing. Like, what do you do for a living? That's such an identity question for people, right? That's such an identity question in the sense that it's not just what job do you have, it's what do you do for a living? Like, who are you? Um, and I'm a musician that plays music at events and shares my love of music with other people, and hopefully puts on the best show and best performance for them so that they get what they need for their event. So in a sense, my job is doing what I like and makes me happy for other people, making them happy. That's success. I'm totally happy making other people happy, um, and getting to do what I love in the process of it. So self-employed has been hard during these COVID times. It's getting better and it's getting easier. Um, but the fact that even in the worst of times, I still knew 100% I've got to stick with this. I have to see this work. I have to see this succeed because I, I don't want to do anything else. Not right now, not for a long while. I think this is kind of where I want to be for a while.
Yeah.
And then after this, it'll probably be something similar, just maybe a different, I'll find a different group. I'll find a different niche of things years down the road. But right now, I'm just really excited to be able to feel like I've achieved success, not financially making millions of dollars and living on a yacht, but in the fact that I get to wake up every day and do what I want to do and somehow get money for it. It's great.
I love that. Well, Jason, thank you so much for being my guest on this episode. It's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit more.
For sure, for sure. I really, really, really appreciate you having me, and can't wait to work with you personally on your event, and hopefully for anybody that's been part of the listening audience or viewing audience on the podcast today. Comes, oh, there we go.
There you go.
It's so backwards, like I don't know which way I'm going, but there's my contact information. I'm sure Chrissy can hook you up if you want to get in touch, but I would love to hear from people as well. And Chrissy, I wish you the best in your business too. I've seen your business grow over the last couple of years. You mentioned 2018. Yeah. A lot has changed since 2018 for you. And I'm just super, super, super happy for you and everything that you're doing as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so welcome back. I absolutely loved it when he called himself the fun vendor. He's the fun vendor. Why would you not be the fun vendor at these things? I really did expect a few more super crazy stories about weddings. I think he might have been holding back because I know that there's way crazier moments out there. But I love that he focuses on the positive feel good stuff. And that's why I loved talking with Jason. His energy was fantastic. I do love the fact that technology works the way that it does. This podcast may not be the most super well done, produced, perfect sound. Like, I don't have perfect pitch in this episode. I don't have perfect pitch in this podcast, in this show, because I want to make sure I just get it out there. And so I don't overly produce when it's done. You're getting us raw. And that's part of the fun of this podcast for me. But the technology aspect, he is on the road doing this episode with me. He is literally at one of those, what they call oasis, truck stop type places. You've been there if you've driven on the road, from Illinois. He's in Illinois somewhere right now, and I'm here in Louisville. So it's fun to be able to just be anywhere in the world and still get this kind of thing accomplished. I really enjoyed Jason. I can't wait to work with him more. I can't wait for the rest of the world to get to know him more and really just tap into having a DJ experience or even the photo booth experience or something more fun in your own business. Like, how can you enjoy what you do and still get paid to do it? How can you turn your own hobby that you love into a full-time business? Think about some of those things. Take the time to evaluate, like, be proactive. My business is Eagle Eye Strategies, and it is strategy first. How to help business owners take time out to work on their business, do those evaluations, do the look throughs. Where can we tighten things up? Are you going in the direction you really want to go with things? So we evaluate all of that kind of stuff before we implement services like marketing or training your people or facilitating the plan, or even getting you out of town to be able to do that kind of stuff. Marketing services. I think I mentioned that already. So strategy is a big deal, and to be able to take the time to work on your business instead of in the business can be a game changer for you. So take that time. If you need some help with that, connect with me. I'm more than happy to have that discovery conversation to see where you are with things, where you want to go. But my guest today, I just loved his energy. I can't wait. This is going to be so much fun. If y'all are in the area or you want us to come do your event, we'll be happy to bring the superhero anytime you want. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening to this episode of Small Business Small Talk. My guest has been Jason Koerner today. I am your host, Christy Smallwood. And remember, please share this with your friends. Find us on your favorite channels. Subscribe, hit the little bells, all the things so you get notified when another episode drops, which is now weekly. I'm super excited about that too. And then also I'm going to be offering sponsorship opportunities soon. So now that we've got plenty of episodes under the belt here, we can certainly start doing that as well. I'd love everybody to know about you and your business just as much as I have my guests on. So with that, I've been, again, excited and honored to be able to do this show. And I thank you so much for your time and listening today. See you again in the next episode of Small Business Small Talk.